Hey everybody, welcome to Prop Live, your weekly prop and costume making Q&A session. Cheers! I got a Coke Zero. It's brought to you by, not by Coke Zero, but it is brought to you by whatever delicious beverage Eric has going on. Eric, what are you drinking?
It is, I like olives, and I need an excuse to eat all the old olives in my fridge, so vodka and some olives.
Awesome. I like it. No vermouth or anything? Just
No,
olives?
I'm not fancy, so.
All right, cool. Well, the other night I had a martini, so gin and vermouth and a lot of olives. Are they normal olives? Or are they garlic stuffed? Because mine had garlic in them.
I think they got a little bit of pimento in
Yeah,
there.
so it's just normal.
I'm getting a hint of a garlic and maybe some ginger notes.
Hey everyone, welcome to the show. We got my buddy Eric. You guys know him as Jarman Props, another one of our horde of amazing prop makers that we saw at DragonCon this year. How was your DragonCon, Eric?
So, DragonCon was 5 days.
That's right.
And I felt like it was about 5 hours.
Mm-hmm.
I get home, I unpack, I decompress, and I go... I didn't go to the vendor room, didn't see any panels, didn't go to wrestling like I wanted to, didn't see any shows, didn't go to the rave, didn't do the Friday night or Saturday night costume contest, didn't see the masquerade, didn't play the masquerade drinking game in our room where we, So it was basically 5 days of, hey, haven't seen you since last DragonCon, let's hang out, let's have a beer. Man. Hey, Bill, how's it going? Hey, this meetup, that meetup. It goes by so fast.
It is bonkers. I still haven't fully decompressed because I still have unpacking to do. And I've been to another convention already. We went to Rose City in between now and then.
Yeah, I saw that. I think Ben said it best. It's like drinking from a fire hose.
Oh, that is exactly it. Yes.
Fire hose of experience.
Very, very accurate. Those of you who are not in the know, Eric runs a little company called Jarman Props. You can go to jarmanprops.com to get the lowdown. Go find out all of his social media stuff. But you've got a Fallout T64, Fallout 4 T60 helmet up on there right now. You want to tell us a little bit about that project?
Oh, the first of many. So that was another drinking from a fire hose kind of project.
Yep.
Started last year in November-ish. Gearing up for Fallout 4 coming out. Decided that's what we were going to do. Ended up ripping all the game models out, fully rebuilding everything, and then the idea was, last year was, let's learn foam, let's do an entire thing out of foam, and so we did the Cantus, and that was pretty good. It seemed to...
Pretty good.
So this year we decided, let's 3D print the entire thing.
I'm bringing up a picture of the Cantus, by the way, just so that everyone can see how pretty good it is. But go on.
So 3D print the whole thing. It was a dumb idea because this thing's huge. It's like 7.5 feet, 8 feet tall. Giant armor plates. It would have been much better just to break out the CNC, run everything in tooling foam, take snap molds off that, and go from there. But we thought, it'd make for some really interesting numbers. And so far, I think we're sitting around like 3,000, 3,500 hours of print time.
Oh my goodness! For the whole set of power armor.
Right, and we're nowhere near done yet. We still have probably 1,500 hours of printing.
That makes me feel so inadequate. The print going behind me right now is going to take 18 hours. I was like, whoa.
Well, that helmet actually took about 300, if I'm remembering. It's about 48 pieces or so.
Wow, holy crap. Yeah, in the blog, in the post, which everyone, go to jarmanprops.com, you can check it out. There's a good picture of it all cut up into pieces, which is, I like that you showed that. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's nice to see. You can show the finished thing all set up together and you go, oh, okay, that's neat. But then when you actually see how it's spliced apart, obviously if I had a bigger printer, I could, fuse those parts together. Like your giant thing you got behind you there, it probably could, I'll print this in one go.
Yeah.
So, you work with the tools that you got. But basically it came down to, we got under the gun over the summer, and my buddy Mike Vrogy, Props by Vrogy, check him out. He's very talented. He came up for a couple work sessions. So like he spent the week in my shop, drove all the way up from Florida, crashed on the couch for the week, and we just kind of, did 15, 16-hour days for a week, just turning and burning, turning molds, finishing pieces. And we got a lot done, and we're real close. So the idea being, after we get the master copies done and all the kinks worked out, we're going to do kits of that. So we can have next year 30 of them at Dragon.
Oh my goodness, that'd be pretty great.
It's definitely not a one-off project, so there will be multiple.
Yeah. When you get to that level of devotion and time, you're like, well, actually making molds of it really wouldn't take that much longer. You've already spent so much time into it.
Well, you say that, but maybe not so much the time or to make molds, but the cost of it. Geez, we're going into the 5-digit range for this project now. As a personal project, that's it's been super fun, but if it's not paying the bills, it has to take a back seat to the paid stuff. So
it would be,
it.
It'd be really great if there was like a good video series on that. It'd be awesome.
It was a company that would, say, hey, this is really cool, and we'd like 5 suits, please, for our.
I'll tell you what. So you've started streaming on Twitch, right?
I have. I've been at the insistence of our, I guess, well, she's not local, but local to the prop making community. Jessie has been insisting that I stream regularly and get a schedule, and she's kind of been mentoring me in how to do all this, and I think it's going pretty good.
Cool.
I'm starting to pick up some tricks like you veterans are employing, like with the chat scrolling and the other nonsense that pops up, and we're getting there slowly but surely.
I'll tell you what, too. Here's something that I would urge you to do is you're going to be live streaming anyway, and this is a good segue into something we just did. We take our live streams and just take that footage, edit it down, and put it up on our YouTube channel. And I think that would be something really, really great. Or you could pay someone else to do the editing, which is even better. or convince a college student to do it for you, an intern. And speaking of, we have a new video up on our YouTube channel. Brittany and I built foam props like you do. And Tuesday we painted them on the live stream on Twitch. And also, by the way, everyone, twitch.tv/Jarman Props. That's where Eric's thing is. But we're Punish Props. So we built these, we painted them on our live stream. It took about 3 hours. I edited that down to about 20 minutes. And now we have a painting video on our YouTube channel. So
I posted a little jab at you the other day after you finished your stream, because we were streaming at the same time. You didn't reply. You didn't take the bait, but
no.
I thought it was kind of fun. I was like, oh, Bill made a wrench. Well, I'll just this thing right here. So.
A giant axe. Now that you've been streaming the progress on that, right?
Yeah, I have. It's a lot of just really boring stuff.
Right.
Sitting there sanding and sanding and.
That's the best.
Sanding and
that's the best part about doing that video. You're just like, well, there's 3 hours of sanding, so we'll just time lapse that down to 10 seconds. Zip right through it. Piece of cake.
Oh, that's the best. I mean, all the comments that I got on those streams were somebody pop in at hour 1 and go, "Oh, this is neat," and then 4 hours later they come back and go, "Oh, okay."
Oh, you're still at it, huh?
It's very zen. It's just I had this in the background here, and it's very calming and relaxing, and I'm like, well, why don't you come up here and we'll put you to work, and it's super relaxing, I promise. Just whoa.
Cool. What else do we have here? Britt put a link to this thing. A couple of our friends got to work on something cool, including you. And one of them is our buddy Will Morgan, who we didn't see, unfortunately, at DragonCon this year. But he made some Mass Effect armor, and those helmets look awfully familiar.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Back in March, April-ish.
Yeah.
So, an email was like, hey, I need 2 of your helmets. And I was like, okay, sure, no problem. And I was like, here's some... friend pricing, and if I had known he was doing it for like some
I know, right?
thing, I'd have been like, no, friend pricing is extra.
That was cool for the Mass Effect New Earth 4D ride at California's Great American Amusement Park. So if you go there and you see some Mass Effect costumes with some cool helmets, know that Eric made them.
Well, I did the castings, and I sent him out, and I was under the gun, and I sent him to him like on the last day that he was like, I need to have these in hand by this date. And then like 3 days later, he's like, yep, they're done now. They're fully finished and painted. I'm like, are you serious? Dude is a wizard.
Yeah,
he
Will's
turns those around super quick.
Yeah.
I'm super impressed with that.
Yeah, he's killing it. We got to have him on the show at some point. It was easier when he just lived here. Let's see. What else do we have? We put out a guide on sealing foam. So, by the way, everyone, we need more questions for today's show. punishprops.com/live. Go there right now. Submit your questions if you're watching live. But if your question is about sealing foam, then I've got a video for you. We get that almost every week. We get questions about sealing foam. So we're like, let's do a video. We'll cover a whole bunch of different methods. And it's not just like, hey, this is the best method. It's here's a bunch of different methods so that you can try them out, pick what might be available to you or what might be your favorite method. So like Eric over at Core Geek loves his Epsilon. I like my latex. Everyone has their favorite methods, so we just spelled it all out for everyone. What about with your Cantus? What'd you do to seal your Cantus?
Oh, geez, sealing it was about 3 days before DragonCon.
Yeah.
That was several dozen cans of brain.
Plastidip?
Yeah, Plastidip.
There you
Sorry.
go.
A couple of the pieces were done with the RD407 latex.
Mm-hmm.
I talked to Frank a little bit at DragonCon. I'd like to try that Creature Cast stuff.
That's what I did on this.
Yet, but,
this right here.
Yeah, I saw that in your little pop-up, and I was like,
neoprene, and it's pretty great. It sands fairly well too. I like it. Let's see, what else do we have here? Go watch that video, and then a week from now, we'll have a show next week on Thursday. But that Friday, me and Brittany are flying to San Diego for TwitchCon. Yay! Speaking of Twitch. I will be judging the costume contest on the next day, on Saturday, but we'll be there all weekend. We're going to hang out. We really don't know what to expect from TwitchCon, so we're just like diving in and we're going to see what it's all about. So if you're going to be at TwitchCon, come find us, and we're just going to be hanging out all weekend in San Diego. So that's what's happening. Do you have any big things coming up that you want to talk about, Eric, or should we just get into the questions?
Let's see. We got GMX coming up here in Nashville, Halloween weekend.
Ooh. And is that GMX is like a pop culture convention, or what is it?
Game Media Expo, yeah. So it's pop culture, sci-fi, nerd stuff, basically.
Are you going to hang out? You gonna have a booth? What's
I've got a booth doing a panel. That'll be fun. That'll be my first run through that. And then in November there is the ME2. I think it's the first year. It might be the second year for that, but that's down in Clarksville, Tennessee. That will be fun. Frank's coming to that one too. So
awesome. That's cool.
He'll be up there, doing some panels and things. I think I'm going to do a joint panel with Brian Mead from Hardscrabble Farms. So we're going to do like extracting models from video games and then repairing them for printing and then printing them and then finishing them and then either molding and casting or making them a finished part.
Cool.
Fun stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome. Keeping busy. All right, you ready for some questions?
Sure, let's do this.
All right, Brittany put her own question in first because she's in charge of the Google Doc and she can do that. She needs to know what your dog's name is. What's the name of the dog?
Padawan, come here.
Padawan?
Come here. This is Padawan.
Oh.
Come here, dum-dum.
Oh,
This is him. He's
there's another dog.
Australian Shepherd. There's 3 dogs.
Oh my goodness.
This is Solomon. Come here. Get up here. Next to here. Get on the couch. Get there. Okay. So Solomon. I don't know if you can see him. I
see him.
Yeah. And then Padawan is a little white one, and then this one. Come here. Come here. This is Annie. She's our escape artist. She was found like 6 blocks away this afternoon. Neighbor I've never met brought her back after going door to door saying, hey, Is this your dog? And I'm like, holy moly, yeah, I didn't even know she was gone. So, all right. But she's the old lady of the house, and she is tired of everyone's shit. So they got a bunch of 2-year-olds over here, and she's 14, 15 now. So yeah, that's she's a really good shop dog because she'll just find some place to sleep, and you know that's that. But it's yeah,
All
fun.
right. Good. We got that. We got that settled, Britt. We got the dogs covered. Let's grab a question from our wonderful prop tarts. Aaron wants to know. I'm looking. He's doing Genji from Overwatch for his next costume. He wants to put a voice changer in the helmet, similar to the Mechanist, so that he can be a cyborg ninja. He says, I can find a microphone and speaker units just fine, but I'm having trouble finding the actual voice changing amplifier portion at a reasonable price. Any tips on where you find your voice changer? Where should I look? What would you do for that? I have my solution, but I want to hear if you have any ideas, Eric.
I know you're all about the Arduino route. Probably what I'd say too. I found a couple decent, off the shelf, like compressor and amplifier and speaker package all in one. You can find them on eBay pretty easily. They're like $10 or $15. They're really crappy quality, but if you just need something to pop in the helmet so that you can speak and people can hear you, not a terrible thing.
They do. What do you know? What it is that what do they call it? Brain just fell out of my ear. Stormtroopers. Do you know what the things are that stormtroopers use? Because it really is just like a microphone with like a belt amplifier sort of thing.
Yeah. I bought a couple of those for the T60. It is called a SmallTalk ST2. They are $10 on eBay.
Wow.
Yep. But ow. So, and this one doesn't have batteries in it. So, okay. Looks like that. Sounds like crap, but it's loud. So there you go.
SmallTalk ST2.
SmallTalk ST2. Yep.
And you have to go to eBay for that?
I think you can get them on Amazon, but they're going to be like 14 or 15.
Oh,
as their markup.
Breaking the bank.
Hey, every dollar counts, right?
Looking it up. I'm having trouble finding it. We'll find a link for that, and we'll throw it in the notes there. That might be the best solution. Know that it's not it won't modulate it the way that the Mechanist one did, because that one's got an Arduino on it that actually changes the audio. What you're talking about is just an amplifier, but because it's kind of crappy, it does kind of change your voice a little bit.
Yeah, you get that compression kind of effect.
Yeah.
It distorts it slightly. Like, could be potentially mistaken for robot chatter, but
sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, for $10-$20, it's really kind of hard to beat. I'm still trying to find this thing on eBay. Yeah, eBay is probably the place to look for it, and it is $10. Awesome, cool. Well, there you go. Like I said, we'll find a link for that. If you want to find out how I did mine, we had an episode of this show that we did with the guys from Adafruit. They put it together for me because they're awesome, wonderful people. We'll put a link to that episode. You can go check out that talk, and they'll go over it. They have their whole blog that shows how they did it all. So there you go. All the voice changing tips for you. Aaron, good luck with your Genji costume. Let's grab another one. This one comes from my buddy Nick. I'm sure we'll see Nick at BlizzCon coming up here. See, he's having trouble with silver spray paint. He says the surface has a powdery feel to it rather than smooth. He knows he's doing something wrong, but he's at a loss. Any ideas? And he says he's had this problem with 2 different brands, so it's probably his technique.
A lot of that sounds like improper application.
Yep.
That's how I screwed up the T60 helmet. I had a really nice chrome base coat on it. I'll find you a picture of it here. And, when you go to seal it or use some other metallic on the top, if you have any kind of chemical interaction between the different types of paint, you will get that sandy, kind of raspy surface to it, and completely kills the illusion of like a hardened metal kind of surface, which strip it down, retry it, or figure out what you did wrong and kind of go from there. But yeah, that's definitely a thing that totally sucks. Where are we? There we go.
Let's see here.
How do I?
Well, the other thing I would mention too, Nick, is that it might be time for you to invest in an airbrush and maybe try some other things like some lacquers, like all-clad lacquers, which are wonderful. Or
So expensive.
they are. Oh, but they're so good. And the reason why I point that out is you have more control over like the air pressure, and you can get different size nozzles, and you can thin the paint if you need to. I mean, you wouldn't with lacquers, but maybe Nick, it's time for you to step up your game and get yourself an airbrush. Just saying. Just saying. Oh, there you go.
Here you go, Bill. Yeah. So this one this was actually Rustoleum Chrome, which was just doing some sample testing with this, and it provides a fairly accurate chrome surface. Like you can kind of see there in the bottom section of the photo, we are getting some reflectivity out of it. Obviously, it's not as good as like a true automotive chrome, but that wasn't the point of this. It was just to give it a decent kind of look to it. So.
Yeah.
We got a little bit of crazing and a little bit of orange peel going on there, but there was going to be so many layers of paint over top of this anyway that it kind of didn't matter. I just kind of needed that really shiny base coat.
Yep.
But yeah, it's you get a good primer surface on it. Make sure everything's clean. There's no oil. There's nothing that can inhibit your paint, and it's basically just trial and error, doing a bunch of samples until you're super confident about your application ability on the paint, and you can get some pretty decent results out of rattle cans.
Yep.
But again, the quality of the paint obviously matters too. So
yeah,
that's what you pay for.
I've had good luck using, and Eric hung up. Very good, Eric. Hey, Eric.
It's okay.
All right.
Stop sharing screen. I hit hang up call. Screw you, Bill. I'm out.
I've had pretty good luck using actually a rattle can of black gloss lacquer, heating up the can in a bucket of hot water first, putting on a good dust coat, and then putting on a wet coat, and then letting it dry overnight to get a good black base coat, and then I'll go over that with lacquers or one of your rattle can chrome paints. You can get pretty good results that way too. So good luck, Nick. There's some things for you to try, and also possibly maybe get an airbrush. All right, let's grab another one. Scale Thor Cosplay says, I just finished making my first MDF prop. He made McCree's.
I'm so sorry.
McCree's Peacekeeper. It will require a 2-part mold. I was wondering if you had any alternatives to spray mold release, as the closest place to buy it is over a 2-hour drive. Postage is almost $40 here in Australia. It might be worth it if you're going to be doing a lot of mold making to take a day and go buy a couple cans of spray mold release. It's way easier. You can use wax, which I've done before, but it's way easier just to spray it on. It's so much easier. Have you tried any other alternatives, Eric?
I, being the cheap bastard I am, though I will say I consider myself frugal, I buy it by the gallon. So I like to get the, Ease Release 205.
Yep.
And where am I? Okay. So at Lowe's, Home Depot, your local hardware store, you can get these little things called Prevol sprayers. And it's just basically a little aerosol unit. And you put your material in the base there, and it becomes a sprayer.
Oh, cool.
So you buy it by the gallon. This gallon has lasted me, I'm getting down to the bottom here, probably about 3 years now.
Right.
So you're buying it by 12 to 16 ounces per can at like 8 to 10 to $15 a can versus, these are like $3. So, aerosolized. The only beef I have with these is that it puts down a lot of material.
Right.
It atomizes it pretty well, but you're going to be putting a bunch of mold release on your part when you do spray it with one of these. So
Very cool. So, but yeah, invest the time or the money and get yourself some of the good stuff. I will say that when I first got started, I was given a wax. I can't remember what it was. I think I bought it at Tap Plastic. So I'm looking it up right now. But it's a mold release wax that I bought.
Talking about Sonite wax?
It might be something similar to Sonite. And I know it wasn't that, but there might you may have to do a little bit of research, but there may be waxes that are good for using as mold release that are more readily available than something you would get from a specialty store like Tap Plastics. But still,
I know Harrison used to use straight Carnauba wax for a while.
Yeah.
I'd be a little concerned with inhibition on certain materials with that, since it's not really designed for it, but it is a wax. It will act as a, parting agent.
Yeah, so there's a couple of things for you to try. If you're going to go with like off-the-shelf stuff like a wax, then do some tests before you commit to your whole pistol there. Otherwise, find a good reason to take that trip and go pick up some good mold release. Good luck with your build, Scale Thor Cosplay, and don't worry if you totally screw up your first 2-part mold. I did, big time.
At least they are cognizant of the fact they need mold release.
Yes.
Instead of building the one half and going, okay, let's do this. Pour the next half. Oh wait.
Oh no.
Yeah. Now it's a block mold, and I'm going to cut my part out. I meant to do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Valkyrie Hayden has a question. I was wondering if you know any well-known people who work with pepakura to foam templates, or any advice on turning pepakura files into usage with foam templates. The one person in particular that comes to mind is Cullen Cosplay. I know he does a lot of foam pepakura stuff. He's got a whole bunch of different projects on his stuff. Have you done much with pepakura, Eric, or no?
No.
Yeah, me neither.
Early days, I did some Halo stuff with Pep.
Mm-hmm.
You should go check out Tim Wynn over at Freakin Rad. He's doing a Reinhardt build, which is pretty exactly that. It's pepakura to foam. So his work is stupid good. That's not a bad place to start for something like that.
That is another good one to point out. And then if you go to the RPF and look up Iron Man foam pepakura, you'll find a bunch of different... There are a handful of people, I can't think of any of them off the top of my head, but there are a handful of people who do pepakura files of specific characters, and they modify the files specifically for foam. I remember I tried to make an Iron Man years ago, and I can't remember who it was in particular, but there's just one person who was making foam pep files for Iron Man, and I downloaded one of those, and it looked pretty good. I just shouldn't have tried to build that whole thing in a week because I was dumb. So
Iron Man in a week.
I filmed all of it too. And the last video in that series is me going, I give up. I'm going to finish the arm and the leg. And that's it. That's all I ended up taking to Comic-Con. All right, Valkyrie Hayden, there's a couple of people for you to go check out. We have Cullen Cosplay, we have Tim over at Freakin Rad, and we have the Replica Prop Forum. You can just go over there and search for whatever you want, and then foam pepakura, and see what shows up. All right, cool. Let's grab another one. Corium9 has a good question for us here. Let's see. He's curious about how affiliate links work. That's interesting. This is kind of associated with how we do our prop and costume making. In a nutshell...
Do tell, Bill. Yes, yeah, I would like to know as well.
One of the major ones we use is just Amazon affiliate links. And anyone in the United States can set it up. If you're in a different country, you may be able to set it up with Amazon through your country. I don't know. You'll have to look into it. Different countries have different rules. Different states have different rules. But here in Washington, you can just go to Amazon's affiliate website. You can make an account there. And then whenever you have a product, so for example, if you have a wrench, a real wrench, and you want to recommend it to anyone, you can go to Amazon, find that product, get a specific link that links that to your account. And then if anyone clicks on that link and then buys it, then you get a cut of whatever their markup, a percentage of their markup, which is cool. That's one of many, many ways we try and make money with our videos. So when we have a huge list of all of the materials or tools we use in our videos, if you click through any of those, then we get a little bit of a cut from that, which is awesome. It's an easy way for people to help us, and it doesn't cost them a darn thing. If you were going to buy something on Amazon anyway, you might as well use our link. So that's kind of how it works. And we have other affiliate deals with other companies like Matter Hackers. Actually, the filament that's being used in the 3D printer right now is Matter Hackers filament. And if you click on the link that we provide for that and go to their website and buy it, then we get a cut, which is awesome. So that's affiliate sales in a nutshell. And they're great because they help everyone out. Everyone involved gets helped out. And it's for stuff that you were probably going to buy anyway, which is awesome. So there you go. Affiliate sales. What do you got there, Eric?
I just had a print finish up, so
hey,
these
all
are
right.
detail parts for the Bravia, Sony Bravia X, and one of 6 pieces. So
those really a really thin flat piece?
Yeah, they're about 1.4 inches as a tube that's been cross-sectioned and then extruded out another 32nd of an inch, and then they just got a crazy amount of brim on them, so they actually stick to the bed.
Yeah.
But they've been doing really well so far. This is the end. This is the last set for one side. Now we got to flip it and mirror all the parts and then print them again for the other side. But overall, yeah, no, I'm real happy with how these are turning out.
Excellent.
Hatchbox, ABS.
What are you using to slice that?
Cura, the new 2.1 or 2.13. Really good. I'm very impressed with how they're doing things.
Cool.
I heard good things about Slice 3D or
Simplify 3D.
Simplify 3D, yes.
Yeah.
But I can't swing that $150 when there's so many good freeware.
That's what I got going on right here, and it is great. The main thing with Simplify 3D that I like the most is the way it handles support material is awesome. And I build almost everything with a raft just because I'm like, I want to be damn sure that thing is stuck to the bed. And it makes these rafts that are just like massive. Like when it puts down a line for the raft, it's just like a hot glue gun, just like poop. It just it uses a little bit more material, but I have never had a raft come off the print bed. So that's why that's my little I need an affiliate link for Simplify 3D if you guys want to go get that one.
What bed adhesion are you using? Like a glue stick or
no? On the Ultimaker, it's got a heated glass bed, and for PLA they recommend just 60 degrees Celsius and no adhesion, and it works fine. I was doing CPE the other day, which I haven't really used very much, and they recommend 70 degrees and glue stick, and that worked okay. But I prefer the PLA on this guy because like I said, I've never had it come off the bed.
Ye olde pickle jar full of acetone and ABS.
Delicious.
Just get your little acid brush.
Yeah.
Once the bed's up to temperature, you brush it on and it flash cures. I guess it just flashes out.
Yep.
Super quick and glass smooth on the bottom.
Oh yeah.
I think it's picking up there.
Oh yeah.
Perfect.
We got Vector Sigma Creations in the chat. Just yelling out Jarman Props rules. That's right. You have a fan in Terry.
Gosh.
All right, let's see here. Next question. Venger says, is it advisable to pull a vacuum form from a 3D printed part, which I assume is a form of thermoplastic? Similarly, is it advisable to use that vacuum form as a mold for a resin cast? Will the curing resin cause the vacuum form mold to sag? And will the heat from the vacuum form plastic warp the 3D printed part?
Boy, that's a loaded question.
A lot of questions. Well, have you ever tried to vacuum form something that was 3D printed?
Yes, we have done that on multiple occasions. Not here in my shop, but at my past job. That was standard operating procedure. Basically, you need to take precautions on your print. You need to make it a little stronger.
Mm-hmm.
increase your infill value a little bit and some of the outer loops. So obviously you're drawing a vacuum over top of this thing. You don't want the plastic that you're pulling over it to crush your form. So yeah, it's basically the same as if you were to CNC cut something or hand shape a buck. Just making sure that the form that you're making is able to withstand those pressures and the heat of it. We've done injection molding printed parts. We've done vacuum forming printed parts. It's same as any other manufacturing technique. You just have to be cognizant of how it's designed.
I did a vacuum form. I did my little RC car body, and the first I got really I got really ambitious, or I was not patient, I should say, and vacuum formed the 3D printed form and crushed to the top of it. You could see all the it was a low infill.
Battle damage. Yeah.
So I had to go in and really it's easy to not realize how much vacuum pull you get out of a shop vac.
Oh yeah.
And it was just like crushed. You could watch it indent the roof, and you could see the lines where all the infill ended because it was only like a 10% infill. I was like, oh dear. So I had to body shop that, fix it up, and then I molded and cast a hydrocal buck, and I just pulled off of that. It is
crush this one now.
Yeah. Let's see. You can definitely cast resin parts out of a vacuum form pull. If it's a type of resin that gets really hot, and the piece of the piece that you vacuum formed is a really thin, like styrene, then it might sag, but I don't think that's going to be too much of a problem. So you could definitely do that. Let's see. The heat from the vacuum forming plastic warp the 3D printed part. Yeah, it could. I did some other the eye pucks for my Mechanist. I vacuum formed that on 3D printed parts, and I just printed them at a 100% infill because they're very small. I sanded them smooth. Just
PLA or ABS?
That was PLA. And I did a couple of pulls, and I could tell it was degrading the pieces a little bit because it gets hot enough to melt that PLA. But if I needed one good pull off of those things, and I got it, and that was all done.
There you go.
Yes.
ABS has a slightly higher deflection temperature for heat, but PLA should probably work pretty well if you're doing like a low volume run for something like
that. Especially a lot of times, a lot of the solutions are dependent on how many of the thing you might need. All right, let's do thank you, Venger. Good question. Best Gamer Ever has a question. He's finishing up a Titan cosplay from Destiny. Yes, Titan. I got my Destiny shirt on right here. Brittany and I have been playing the old Rise of Iron, having a good time with that. He saved up a few bucks and was wondering where I got the undersuit for my costume. Oh, that's right. Well, and I just closed all my notes. Well done, Bill. Let's open that in a new tab so I can show. I did a blog post on it, actually. And I am much better at Photoshop than I am at sewing. So I Photoshopped. I bought a pattern. A PDF pattern of a bodysuit, and then I photoshopped on top of that, and then I sent that to Fabric on Demand, and they printed it. It was like $150, but it looked really good. Know that it will be a little bit darker than your print, but also if it's a tight outfit and it stretches, it will lighten a little bit. And then what else? And then I paid a friend to sew it together because I don't know how to sew that well.
Just 3D print the suit, man. Use a flexible filament.
Yeah. So that's the solution I went with, and it cost me about $150. And then I left that outfit in a hotel, a Marriott in San Jose. So I got to wear it 2 or 3 times, and then I left it there. So, yay. Life, and not even close to the most expensive life lesson I've ever had. All right. Do you have a go-to for undersuits? I was branching out on that one. Usually I just use like athletic clothing. How about you?
I don't actually build enough costumes to have a go-to for something like that. It's usually what's the cheapest thing I can find on Amazon that kind of looks, oh, okay, yeah, like a knockoff Under Armour thing. Yeah, I can work with that. And
Yeah. For I will say for Destiny outfits, you may not get something that's like perfectly accurate, but if you look up paintball armor gear, like the clothing they use for paintball, that stuff looks cool and tactical and has like padding and cool space age looking like lines and designs on it. I'm gonna just look up on Amazon paintball shirt. It'll probably also be like Monster Energy drink. Empire paintball chest protector. This is like a olive, but you can get it in different colors, or you can get a lot of these in different colors. And it's like this crazy shirt with built-in, stitched-in padding. That's cool. And it's $40. Not too bad. Oh, there's a gray one. It looks. All these things look so space age. It's awesome.
You got me thinking now because I've got a couple old like chest harness things for exactly that, the paintball and like the motocross things, just kind of hanging out in the closet, never been worn. Figured I'd use them for something. Maybe I need to build some Destiny gear now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got all this stuff here. I might as well do it.
Yep. Yeah, these are looking like in the $30 to $40 range. And they've got padding and like cool looking designs and stuff on them, and they're generally skin tight, so that kind of like how all the Destiny stuff is. So look around. Just go to Amazon or eBay and look up paintball shirts or paintball pants or whatever. They got really cool gloves, airsoft. Ooh, look up airsoft shirt. Airsoft. I'm gonna buy some of this stuff. I know it. The gloves they have are really cool, space age looking things too. Very cool. So look around, snoop around, see what's out there. And the cool thing is, if you're wearing your Destiny armor and you get shot in the chest with a paintball, then you'll be all set. There you go. Best gamer ever. From the ridiculously expensive to the slightly less expensive, there's a couple solutions for you.
I'm just looking at that armor going, yeah, you could probably fabricate that out of foam and like do some of those panel lines with the different spandexes. And I'm like, oh, it's $40. Okay, yeah. No,
yeah, we'll just buy that.
Buy that one.
Let's grab another one from Adira. Let's see here. I'm working on building a Kami Whacker from the new Nuka World expansion. Crap, I gotta play that game too.
No spoilers.
Thinking of making the bladed mod for it with foam. Oh, it's a big mallet with saw blades on the side of it. Let's see, a bladed Kami Whacker. So it's like a mallet you would use for whack-a-mole.
That just sounds wrong.
But it's got saw blades tied to the side of it.
Oh, all right. Okay. Yeah.
Let's see. They want to make a circular saw blade out of foam. Should I try it on a bandsaw or stick with an X-Acto knife? I would probably cut that out. I mean, my own personal preference, I would cut out a lot of that with a bandsaw and then clean it up with like a Dremel. If you have a bandsaw, what do you think, Eric? You would just laser cut it.
That's way too much work. You're letting robots do it.
Yeah, you would just do it with a laser.
Done. If I didn't have a laser cutter, yeah, bandsaw would probably be pretty good.
Yeah, you could even cut it, most of it, because the inside of the teeth are kind of rounded. I would cut most of that with just a knife and then just go in with a Dremel tool and clean that up a little bit. That would be the lowest cost version if you don't have a bandsaw or a laser.
And after, if you make any mistakes with it and you kind of gouge parts, battle damage.
Everything in Fallout is battle damaged. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I like that you're making it out of foam though, and not just sticking actual circular saw blades to.
Probably safer, because if you take it to a con and get drunk, you're liable to swing it around and hit people with it. Better to be made out of foam than styrene or anything else.
Yeah, even a plastic with those pointy ends could be damaging. But you got this, Adira. You got it. Foam is cheap, so practice a little bit and you'll nail it. Booshang wants to know, I'm working on glowing eyes for my Death Rat's mask using my glowing Draugr eyes tutorial, but I'm having trouble finding surface mount LEDs. Will normal LEDs work? Oh. I don't see why not. The reason why I use the SMDs is they're so flat, and that I wanted the eyes to lay flat against my forehead. But you could probably make the glowing acrylic discs like we did, and just drill a hole in the back of it, then plink your LED right into that thing, and you're good to go. I just like how low profile those surface mount LEDs are.
I wish I had done. Oh, I actually did. I was gonna say I wish I'd done better documentation on that Gambit build that I just finished for Dragon Con, but I have a photo. I'll send it to you here, Bill.
Is that up on the Facebooks?
No, I'm gonna send it. It's through Flickr. I'm gonna just send it direct through Skype. That's the photo there. If you wanted to share that one. Basically, what I did with that was like you said, kind of socketed out the acrylic.
The photo is private. If link doesn't work.
Of course it is. Gosh darn it. Okay, try now.
Trying again.
Let's super derail this.
There it is. We got this.
There we go.
Cool.
But yeah, those are using 5mm, just standard LEDs. They work really well. And yeah, it's obviously 5mm spacing on the LED versus something's probably a millimeter or less for surface mount.
Mm-hmm.
In the grand scheme of things, if you can kind of pour out the back of it, probably be just fine for something like that.
There you go. Bouchang, you got this. Piece of cake. Your normal LEDs will work just fine. You may just have to get a little more clever with how you apply them. Blitzagog has a question. He says, where do you get your inspiration for the new things to craft or sell? Inspiration. I don't know about you, Eric, but I have a list of things I want to make that gets bigger than it gets smaller because I have more things that I want to make than I have time to make them.
Oh man, after kind of hanging my hat on using this to pay my mortgage, my inspiration is usually dollars.
Yeah, that's a good inspiration.
Say, hey, I have this much inspiration for you to build this, and I go, okay, that sounds good. Yeah, I've got a list too. It's a Google Doc that's going on 3 pages now of that'd be cool to build. Let's see. At this rate, that'll be scheduled for like 2030 something. We'll put that on the schedule for the personal builds. But like the T60, it's shelved until I find some time to work on it.
Yep.
Got to pay the bills first, which is a bummer. So
we did a lot of littler projects like this wrench that I made. Was inspired by we have a live stream. And we needed something to do that day. It's like, well, let's do some foam fabrication and show off a bunch of the techniques we've been going over. So that a lot of our inspiration comes from the content that we're making. So then the project that's going behind me is twofold. One, it's a gun from Destiny, and I want to make guns from Destiny. Just personally, that's fun for me. And two, we wanted to launch our 3D printing videos again, and that was a good reason to do it. So there we go. That's 2 good reasons for me to do that particular project. So a lot of other people who are not doing this full time, like you or me, have different reasons. They just want to make their favorite character from their favorite game or whatever. So they have.
I definitely will say that's the thing I miss the most about it. Is you come home from work and go, I can do what I want. I'm not beholden to anyone right now. So I will build this thing.
All right. Grenthor the Mighty has a question. What is your least favorite material to work with? Has this stopped you from starting a project because you knew it would be a pain in the rear? People probably want me to say Warbler, but the truth is I haven't really worked with Warbler very much.
I hate foam. I hate it. I'm so damn OCD about it. Okay, I gotta go find this thing now. I hope I didn't throw it out. But that axe head, originally I was like, yeah, it's huge. It's gonna weigh 1,000 pounds if I fabricate it some other way. So we'll just do it out of foam. So I got a couple giant sheets of 2-inch foam. Started working on the pattern, embedded the threaded rod in it, and I start working away at this thing and going, there's no way I'm going to be able to shape this to what it's actually supposed to be, because I'm not that good with foam. I'm sure somebody else that was better at it could probably knock this out without too much trouble, but I'm looking at it going, yeah, the symmetry's not quite right. So, no, we're going to model it, we're going to 3D print it, and we're going to nip this in the bud. So, foam is so easy to work with, and it's so cheap, but at the same time, if you're not like a wizard at it, it's just
part of that, though, a big part of that is you do hold your work to a very high standard.
It's getting me in trouble.
Well,
it really is.
I'll give you an example too. Like, this wrench looks really great, but if you look up really close, you can still kind of see the seam lines in the back of it, right?
That's a forge mark. That's where the mold halves of the forge came together. It's fine.
But I'm saying, for example, if this was made out of tooling foam or something, no problem. You sand that right out. No problem. It's gone right away. Or if it's a 3D printed part, you just don't model it with that seam there, right?
Sure, yeah.
So there are other materials where you can refine it to a high level, because those materials are more rigid versus the foam. What you get with the foam, of course, is that it's really, really fast and cheap.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Material I don't tend to work with insulation foam very much. I know a lot of other people really like styrofoam or polystyrene. I'm pretty brutal. Like, I'm very hands-on with the stuff I work with, and every time I've worked with EPS, everything ends up getting dinged or poked or scratched or gouged. So I don't tend to work with that very much, but I try not to limit myself to the different materials I work with. And generally there is a best material for the time and the budget that you've got, and that's what I end up going with. And usually that means foam.
Be built now.
Yep. Shogun XD says, I'm making my first foam prop, and I'm using just a box cutter knife to cut out all the pieces. I'm working with a 10... let's see here. Oh, he's talking about gluing pieces are uneven when gluing them together, and he has a hard time sanding it. Generally, if I'm gluing two flat surfaces together, I will glue them first, and then I will cut them out. Does that make sense? As opposed to cutting out the shape of this handle in two different layers, and then trying to glue them together. I'll glue the layers together, and then I will cut out the shape. That's what I tend to do. So that the seams between them are as good as possible. Like that. That's what I do.
And another thing, I will post it for you, Bill, here. $10 for a pack of 100 blades. Don't box cutter. I see this all the time. Make 5 cuts, throw the blade out. Get another one. Make 5 cuts, throw the blade out. If you're feeling real frisky about it, 3 cuts. But there's zero reason to use a dull blade with foam.
There you go.
You're shooting yourself in the foot. So
awesome. Or get a sharpener. I like the sharpener, but there is something nice about having a brand new blade every time. Actually, that's how I did my my Mass Effect armor. It was like, make a few cuts, throw it away. I think I went through at least 50 blades on my Mass Effect armor.
You mean the armor that's going to be single-handedly responsible for giving everyone in the prop community jock itch?
We have number 20 lined up at TwitchCon.
Holy crap.
Yes. All right, one more question. Then we're going to roll out of here. Utter Otter wants to know, now that you did the sealing video, will you do a video on cleaning up each type of coating? Which ones will you have to throw stuff away? What do you clean up with soap and water, acetone? I don't know that the goal with that video was to get you guys to experiment, and to try out stuff for yourself. If I do any of those sealing methods, for example, you may see me use neoprene more in the future just because I have a bunch, I want to try it. So you may see in those videos, you'll see me applying and cleaning up and painting neoprene. But I don't think we're gonna do. I gotta let you guys know the video where we showed all the sealing methods, that took like 2 weeks to put that video together, and Brittany busted her butt on it. But we can't do videos like that all the time. It is a massive amount of work. but I do want to play with some of those materials more. So look for those things coming out when it makes sense, when the video makes sense. But thank you for the question, Otter. We got to roll out of here. It's getting to the end of the old show here. But I want to thank Eric so much for hanging out with us this last hour.
Yeah, it's great. It's been a while. It's this is my three-peat. This is my hat trick.
Oh, so. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, we're happy to have you on. Thanks so much for lending your expertise. Once again, everyone, go to jarmanprops.com. Go check it out. Give them a follow on all the social media stuff. Especially go check out that Fallout 4 T60 helmet build that's going on. And everything else that you've got. Whatever that giant axe is that you're making. I'm excited to see that thing get all finished up.
Yeah, Final Fantasy 14. So
is that the project you're focused on right now?
Yes, that
awesome.
And the armor that goes with it. I have 7 days to finish both. So
cool.
Here we come, Anime Week in Atlanta.
Well, you guys will be lucky. I think Eric's probably going to be live streaming a lot in the next 7 days. So
oh yes, yeah.
Head on over twitch.tv/JarmanProps. Go give him a follow over there. Tell him we said hi, and we will see everyone on the next Prop Live.
Okay, bye.
Thanks, everyone.